البروفيسور جيمس باتون يقدم كلمته بمناسبة هذا المؤتمر الكبير الناجح بفضل بركة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Assalamu alaikum. It is an honor to join you all today in reflection and celebration of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his good example of a virtuous life during both revelation and hardship. I would like to extend a special thanks to His Majesty, King Mohammed VI, for his royal patronage of this event, and to my friends at the Islamic World Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, ISESCO, for inviting me to participate. Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, Holinesses, esteemed guests and friends, we live in challenging times, and we cannot ignore the crises that we share as a human community. People of faith are compelled to reflect on how we must be better agents of change, better laborers for the divine in this troubled world. I use the terms divine and divinity because we are a gathering of many faith traditions, but whether we are accustomed to saying Allah, Yahweh, God, or any other name, I cannot believe that the divine can be doing anything but weeping at the suffering, the dehumanization, and cruelty we witness among and between peoples across the world. And yet it is a world of transcendent beauty, and one with innumerable examples of people aspiring to understand and reflect a divinity that seeks to heal and care for a wounded and imperfect humanity. I would like to invite people of all faiths to join together in this task. We need one another to succeed. Today, we explore how the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, might help to guide us all, not only toward a more virtuous self, but toward a more virtuous community of nations. From his early years as an orphan, shepherd, to his years as a spiritual leader of a nascent faith community, the Prophet, peace be upon him, showed trust, wisdom, patience, and resilience. He was a man who listened to what has been called the soft, still voice of the divine, and grappled with how to live according to that guidance, despite many challenges. And as we must do today, he turned to his fellows from different faiths for support. When the early Muslims faced persecution, the Prophet, peace be upon him, led them to safety in the kingdom of Aksum in modern-day Ethiopia under the Christian king, al-Najashi. He was a just king and recognized true faith and virtue, despite the differences in doctrine. The Holy Quran encourages us to witness the good in one another across religious difference, saying, "To each of you we have ordained a code of law and a way of life. If Allah had willed, he would have made you one community, but his will is to test you with what he has given each of you. So, compete with one another in doing good." If you believe in a divinity who created the world, who created humanity and all of its multitude, would not that divinity wish for the best for all of its creation? And is the best a world of hatred and violence, a world of exclusion and suffering? Now, too often, our differences in religious belief are used to excuse those conflicts. I do not dispute that the faithful find in their religious traditions and their sacred texts the absolute truth. But even if the text is the precise word of the divine, we are a flawed humanity. If we were not, what need would we have of divine guidance? The very qualities embodied by the Prophet, peace be upon him, of trust, wisdom, patience, and resilience all share a common thread, which is humility, the willingness to be guided, to witness the divine in unexpected places. Which is greater, the wisdom of man or the wisdom of the divine? Which most works towards the flourishing of mankind, divided communities of people or the expansive care of the divine? Who knows best how to reach the heart of each human being? People with their different prejudices, judgments, weaknesses, and selfish interests, or the impartial and universal divine presence. In my work at the International Center for Religion and Diplomacy, from reconciling enemies in the jungles of Colombia to resolving local conflicts in war-torn Yemen to advancing dialogue to bridge divides between American evangelical pastors and conservative Pakistani imams in the mountains of Nepal, I have met women and men of peace and kindness in every faith. And I have met the self-interested and deceitful. Am I to embrace the latter because we share a doctrine and reject the former because we do not? We may believe differently, but as the Surah Az-Sumar states, such is the guidance of Allah. He guides therewith whom He pleases. So let us meet one another along that path that took the Prophet, peace be upon him, to the kingdom of Aksum, a path paved with compassion, selflessness, and aspiration. Let us look to each other in a world that is divided by human jealousies and prejudices and not see our differences, but see the light of the divine at work in one another. I believe then we may do honor to the virtuous examples set for us by the Prophet, peace be upon him, and upon all of you. Thank you.